Paulie Malignaggi was complaining about that too. I mean, obviously he walked out on the camp.
Yeah.
He didn't like the treatment he was getting. Didn't like the living quarters he was placed in. He told me it was like a crack house. Yeah, he said Conor was cheap. Didn't want to. Oh yeah, no, yeah, he was. Paulie went off.
Yeah.
I mean, there was some. I don't want to say no personal stuff or anything like that, but there's definitely some animosity there. And actually, Chris Van Heerden, he sparred with Conor before. He actually co-signed what Malignaggi said.
Yeah.
He basically said, "Yeah, this guy, he treated me, he disrespected me the same way." It's starting to look like a little pattern, I think.
Yeah, it kind of looks familiar. Like I've kind of been through that type of pattern before, right? But yeah, that's the same. Number one, I got an inside track from a friend of mine that gave me some stories of what happened over there. And I tell you what, number one, for Paulie Malignaggi to be disrespected the way it was, it's just not right, man. This is a sport. We're all sportsmen, and at this level, we're all professional. We should be professional in and out of the ring because we represent what a lot of people look at. And for them, from what I understand, the way they disrespected Paulie and just try to use him and abuse him and all that, to me, it was a shame. That video that I saw, or when he's down, that picture. I see Joe Cortez in the background, right? So I study everything. We know the game inside and out, but what is a Joe Cortez doing with a bow tie and a nice, referee outfit, working a fight? I mean, I can see referees helping in the game, but to be dressed like that for a sparring session, to me, it didn't make no sense.
Looked
So
like he had makeup on.
and that's the thing about it. I got a lot of respect for Joe and all that, but
Right.
when I saw that, I said, you know what? Somebody's milking this on a marketing aspect of it.
Yeah.
But they don't understand the respect that boxing should have for each other, and to have had a Joe Cortez in there properly dressed like he's in an actual fight,
Yeah.
To me was disrespectful to the sport of boxing.
It looked like a setup.
It looked like a setup.
Yeah.
And to Paulie Malignaggi. So to me, that was quite disappointing.
Yeah. I mean, that's it seems like that's kind of been their way of promoting the whole event. Because even when the fight was first announced, he was posting pictures of his other sparring partners, him messing them up. And to some degree, like, I get it, I understand. You're trying to convince people that you're on the same level, but at the same time, you can't disrespect someone like that.
No, not when these guys have been working all their lives to get that type of respect. And the only thing that these guys ask for in this game, we all ask for, is respect.
Yeah.
And especially somebody like Paulie Malignaggi. I mean, he's a character that's A-class all the way, and to come in and try to help a Conor McGregor to understand the boxing concept and to get disrespected, to me, is not good management.
Yeah. What happened when I was talking to Verge? We did an interview. It might have been a couple weeks ago, actually. Before we really got deep into training camp for Mayweather McGregor and everything, he told me that they came to you and asked you to be their cut man, and like it sounded like it was going to happen, but then it didn't.
Yeah, it was crazy. I'll tell you the story, man. You're my friend, Ben Thompson, right? So I'm in New York for Bellator.
Yeah.
And I walk into the dressing room and I see John Kavanaugh, and hey, Stitch, what's up? Give our hugs and ask for my card. And says he want to talk to me about working with Conor and all that. I said, oh, great, man. And so I go and do my stuff and come back later on into the dressing room, and he's sitting there. And he said, oh, yeah, I just talked to Conor, and he likes the idea. I said, well, great, man. He goes, well, have my guys get a hold of you. And then about a week later, I got a call, and the guy was telling me that Conor had, they're interested in having me. But I had told John in the dressing room, I said, look, I got a fight in China this week. I just did a GKO this week. I got Bellator, and I got another boxing show. Do you wrap hands? And he says, no, not boxing. Well, I can show you how to wrap hands the days that I'm not there. So we talked about that. So when the agent called, he says, well, Conor and John would like to know if you could cancel all your events because they want you in camp every day so you can grab Conor's hands. So I thought, God, it's a great opportunity, biggest fight in the history of ever.
Yeah.
I said, yeah, of course, man, I'll do it, And so we went to the particulars, and then he sent me back a response that, yes, you agreed to, cancel this date, that date, so and so and so and so.
Mm-hmm.
So I got together with my attorney, Steve Pacitti, and we write up a formal presentation, and what do you charge? He asked. So I said, well, it's tough to say because I've never been in this magnitude type of fight. I know in boxing, fighters usually give a guy a cutman 2%, so we could work off of. But I don't expect 2%. I said we could work on something. So
right.
I thought I gave him a fair deal based. My attorney Steve Pacitti works with a lot of fighters, so he knows the game of where we're at there. So we sent him a proposal, and then the agent tells me, he says, well, your contact person is Mike Mersch. And I'm thinking, oh, fuck. Can I say fuck?
Yeah.
I said, oh,
FightHype.
fuck, man. Mike Mersch was the attorney that took care of all the fighters, the trainers, the cutmen. They would make sure that we all had the proper sponsors and nothing was so-and-so and all that. But he was so disrespectful to everybody, man.
Wow.
He once said that, Dana hired me to be the asshole. And he was, to the fighters, the trainers, the cutmen. And he ended up getting fired by the UFC. And now he's working for the agency that handles Conor McGregor.
Wow.
So that was, oh my God, that's step one. But I'm thinking, well, he's just the attorney, so he doesn't make these decisions, maybe,
Right.
But I had talked to the agent about sponsorship, because when I left the UFC, I left because they took away our sponsors, and that was a majority of my income. Listen, if I couldn't live on the money that just the UFC would be paying for us to work these shows. So I talked to him, I said, well, what about sponsors? He said, well, I don't see that as a problem as long as they don't conflict with Conor's. So I had some major sponsors lined up, man. And so all that was shot to hell. They came back with a counter, or with an offer. They came back with an email that, sorry, man, you're too expensive.
Wow.
And I thought, wow, no counter offer or anything like that. So,
wow.
I'm talking to my attorney, I'm talking to my family, and I think, wow, what went wrong here, because me as a cut man, knowing both sports and talking to John Kavanaugh, I told him not only do I work the physical side of it, wrapping hands, working cuts, but I'm also good at the psychological aspect of it. And I told him the stories of like Vladimir, and even when I worked with Andre Ward, when he fought Kovalov, there were some kinks in the armor that I saw in the other camp that I brought up to Andre, and it benefited us. So those I bring to the table, so I would have been a good choice.
Right.
But then they said I was too expensive, and I'm thinking, damn, how much is he making? But somebody made the decision, and John Kavanaugh had sent me a text that, we wanted it, and well, you read it, and
I did.
You wanted it, we wanted you, but the team says you were too expensive.
I still don't. Who is they? That's what I want to know. Who's the team?
I don't think it was John and Conor. Conor might come back and say, "Nah, yeah, it was me," but I don't think so.
Not if he was all in. I don't know. They. That sounds like that could be an old beef.
Yeah, that's and we're talking as friends, right?
Of course, always.
We're talking as friends, and and I break it down. And like I say, the only thing that counts in this game is the truth. I don't give a shit what anybody says.
Yeah.
So you have some ideas of what went wrong, and, but my relationship with Dana is not good at all. When he fired me for speaking out about the Reebok deal during that interview, on Fox TV, Karen Bryant's asking him, because it was big that they got rid of me.
Right.
Is Stitch coming back? Nah, Stitch will never be back. And then down the road through more conversation, Stitch and I were never friends.
Right.
So all that went against him. The fans to this point, man, 2 years later, are still complimenting me for manning up and bashing Dana, UFC, Reebok, and all that. So for me to come and work in Conor's corner, I don't think. What do you think?
To walk the halls of the UFC Performance Institute, I don't think Dana would like that.
Yeah. So I lost that great opportunity. Yeah.
Wow.
So, but it's all right. It's.
That's fucked up though.
Yeah, that is fucked up.
Fucked up, man.
That is, it is.
I mean, just the whole situation. You canceled gigs.
Yeah.
This belief that
for their
make
request.
this happen. Per their request.
Per their request. And, my wife was saying it last night. She said, they're really doing Conor a disservice by not giving him the best options to win a fight.
Right.
And not to say that I'm the best, but I've been in a lot of big fights, man, where I know that the crowd won't get to me and all this won't get to me. And, you got to look at all the best options available to you. Right. Not having a boxing coach, I think, is a serious issue.
Yeah, all of that's, but that's why I just when I think about this whole fight, it's just like, wow. Yeah. It's like they're cutting every corner possible for the big.
They know the game, man.
Yeah.
And they know what the best options are. And they know everything, man. So you'll hear it from the fans.
Man, that would have been crazy, though, to see Duran.
Ah, it would have been insane.
Popping up on All Access.
Yeah, it would have been insane. The biggest fight in ever.
Right.
It's never going to be duplicated again. And to have been involved at that capacity and working with Conor. I like Conor and I like John. They're super guys. And like I said, they're the Irish of the European states, and or the Mexicans. So it'd been Mexicans with, it would have been great, man. Just to do it.
I would have given him more of a shot had I known he took these necessary steps to get you. I mean, listen. Yeah. I mean, let's keep it real. Before you got ceremoniously ousted out of the UFC. Every fighter loved you.
Yeah, of course.
You wrapped everyone's hands. Like, you knew that whole world. And you're from boxing.
Yes.
So, and I'm not talking just from, it's not like you're just like some club level, I mean, you worked with Klitschko, Andre Ward. I mean, come on. Like, you're one of the best out there at doing, being a cutman, wrapping hands, all that.
Yep.
Had he have hired you, had he have hired a boxing coach, had he have kept Paulie, in camp and actually worked with Paulie and tried to learn from him. I'm not saying become a boxer, but I'm just saying learn some things from Paulie. Learn about certain feints and certain, just some. I would have given him more of an opportunity. I still don't think he would have had a shot.
Yeah.
But at least I'd have been like, who knows? Maybe, you know.
He has that chance, that fighter's chance, as they say.
Right. Yeah. Right, but it's almost like the more I'm starting to hear from certain people who've had connections with him and his team, the more I'm starting to think like, man, they're really cutting a lot of corners.
It's an amateur team, brother.
Yeah.
It's an amateur team.
Yeah, I didn't want to say it, but
and you brought up a good point with Paulie. If he would have stayed, you would have had a boxing coach. Okay, let's say I was the boxing coach, or you're the boxing coach, and you had Paulie Malignaggi there. You know what I would have worked on? Because you asked the question earlier: do you learn how to box in this short term, or do you just work on the style that you have?
Right.
Well, the style that he's fought with all his life, he's probably going to stay with that. So what I would have done as a coach is I would have had him continue doing that, and Paulie, not that he's going to be like Floyd, but fight like Paulie fights, which is slick, and you try to hit Paulie, you learn how to work off of that. Right. At least you learn a little bit of that style.
Right.
I would have took advantage of that. And I think he would have been a great prospect. When you go to spar, you don't go to knock the shit out of each other. You go there to learn. Those are your learning traits. And that's when you learn. If he would have learned how to read Paulie Malignaggi through his style, Paulie's style of fighting, and if he made contact, boom, 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 that would have been an advantage for him. But it looks like he lost that opportunity.
Right. Yeah. No. Paulie, when he was talking to me about his experience over there, he said exactly the opposite of what you just. He said it seemed like, it was a setup, and Conor was just there to knock his block off.
It was a TV hype.
Right.
It was a hype.
Right.
Yeah.
Right.
And that's so disrespectful to him. Yeah. He could have did that with somebody else, but Paulie has a name.
Yeah.
But he don't know that Paulie has a mouth also.
Paulie has a mouth.
I remember
Paulie has a mouth.
I told Paulie I became a big fan of Paulie's with, I think, Ishe Smith. We fought in Houston, and he fought
Baby Bull
Diaz.
Yeah.
And he lost.
Before the fight.
Yeah.
Before the fight, he called it. He said, they're going to rob me. They're going to fucking rob me.
Yeah, but he did. He won the fight, but he lost the fight, right? And I remember he said, fuck, man, you guys fucked me without even using Vaseline.
Right.
I said, I like Paulie, man. And I thought Paulie was my man. And
Yeah.
you know, the thing about it, he speaks the truth, man.
He does.
And I know what happened this situation. Just, I'm glad that he did what he did because, you know, he would have been a punk if he would have stayed there.
Right.
You know?
Right.
But Paulie don't roll that way, man.
Paulie don't roll that
No,
way.
no.
You gotta
Super
have
guy,
respect.
super
See,
guy.
but these are the things a lot of fans don't. I don't know. I guess some people just don't see the same things that I guess we experience because we're on this side.
We're in the mix, man.
Right.
Yeah.
So we kind of like there are certain things that we hear that not everyone is privy to because we can't talk about it and stuff like that. So you get kind of a different perspective on things. But there's one thing I know about Paulie. He's always been very truthful with me.
Yeah.
And never sugarcoats anything.
And I always show respect, brother.
Yeah.
I always showed respect. Man, I tell you what, I would have been pissed if I was Paulie.
And you know he was.
Being disrespected like that, that's just
You know he was.
That's just not right, man.
What am I, a jerk off?
Yeah, that's
Paulie was
Paulie,
pissed.
man. Yeah.
He was pissed.
You sound
man.
like Paulie, by the way.
He was pissed, dude. I know. I
don't
talked
blame
to
him.
him.
I
I
don't blame
talked
him,
to him. He was not happy, and I don't blame him. You know, that type of treatment. Again, I'm not saying I got to be up, you know, in a place like this.
Yeah.
But you know, just show me a little bit of respect. You know, that's
all we ask
that's all
for.
we're looking for. Especially someone like Paulie, who's, you know, 2-division world champion. I mean, people can say what they want, but he's been in with the best.
Oh, he can fight.
He can fight.
Yeah, no doubt about
He
it.
ain't no bitch.
No.
He ain't no bitch. Unlike he was calling Conor.
Hey, but I tell you what, you know, Paulie being a Showtime commentator and all that.
I love it.
He got shit to talk about now.
I love
man.
it. He's
'Cause he
teaching. He's teaching though. He's teaching. And he's going to teach people on the 26th when the broadcast happens. He's going to be able to talk about a whole lot more. And he's going to be able to break this fight down.
Nobody has.
Right.
Nobody has.
Right. And it's going to be great. It's going to
yeah.
be great TV. I can't wait. I'm looking forward to it. What's your official prediction? You said 8, 9?
Yeah, I go a distance. You know, I think he'll get battered. You know, from like round 6, 7, 8.
Yeah.
You know, I think he'll get battered, and you know, they got to definitely keep him on ice every round, man, because he's gonna get hit.
Yeah. Look at you. Give him free advice. You're such a good man.
Yeah. Hey, we're all armchair quarterbacks at this point, bro. They don't mean shit till it happens, man. See, I learned that, man. Yeah, we can talk all the stuff we want, Ben, but don't mean nothing till it happens.
That's
man.
true. That's very true. That's very
and then you can say, "Oh, I told you I was right, man." Half the time I'm wrong.
Right. No, I feel you. That's why we watch.
So,
That's why we watch. You
no,
know,
but it's like I say, I mean, I've done so many fights that I always prepare for the worst case scenario because it happens.
Yeah.
I've seen it all the time where it's one shot, bam,
Yeah.
changes the course of the game.
Well,
Klitschko and Anthony Joshua, that one up.
One shot.
One shot, man. Just
God,
like the deer
how
hunter.
did his head stay attached?
Man,
That was
I don't know.
crazy.
I don't know.
Props to Vlad, man. That holy shit.